What's up everybody, SoxHeather here coming at you with another recipe video. Tonight we are doing, sorry this recipe's long, Asian peanut noodles with chicken, lightened up. They lightened it up and I'm going to lighten it up even further. So without further ado, let's get started. There are a lot of ingredients in this, but for those of you who don't cook very often, I don't want you to be intimidated by that. There are basically two little recipes. One is for the sauce and one is for the chicken. But it's pretty much the same ingredients for both, except with a few exceptions. So measure once, use it twice, you're good to go. Don't be intimidated by this. It's an easy recipe, I think. I've never made it before. Here we go. First, the ingredients for the sauce. We have 14.5 ounces of fat-free chicken broth. We have, their recipe calls for 5 tablespoons better than peanut butter spread. But I just got my PB2. You can't see it because I cut the lid off, the label off. But I just got my PB2 in the mail, which for those of you who don't know, is just dried ground peanuts. That's it. You can add water to it to make a peanut butter type dip. You can use it for baking, things like that. I have not cooked with this yet. The only thing I've used it for, I used the peanut butter chocolate one, which has cocoa in it. I put some in yogurt and I wasn't a fan. So I thought it would be better for baking and cooking. So I have 5 tablespoons of PB2. I have 1 tablespoon of Sriracha. Do you guys like my new little tablespoon containers here? I got these just to make recipe videos. So 1 tablespoon Sriracha, 2 tablespoons honey. It looks that way because I measured the Sriracha first, then the honey, so it's got a little Sriracha in it. Now the Sriracha is for spice and flavor. If you don't like hot stuff, leave this out or cut it down because there's also Sriracha for the chicken, so it's going to be a bit spicy. We have 2 tablespoons light sodium soy sauce. We have 1 tablespoon of freshly grated ginger. We have 2 cloves of garlic minced, and that's the sauce, okay? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to combine the chicken broth, the peanut butter. You could use regular peanut butter if you wanted to. The chicken broth, the PB2, Sriracha, honey, soy sauce, ginger, and garlic. I'm going to mix all of that into the pan and cook it over medium heat for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm going to set it to the side, okay? But before we do that, here's the ingredients. Here are the ingredients for the chicken. I have 16 ounces of chicken. That calls for breast. I have chicken thighs. I'll modify that in my recipe builder. Cut into strips. I haven't done that yet. I'm waiting because I'm going to go ahead and get the sauce started, and then while that's cooking, I'm going to cut the strips here. And to save time, I could have measured out the stuff for the sauce first and then done the rest, but as I said, it's mostly the same ingredients, so I just wanted to measure it once. And if you are not doing a recipe video, technically I could have put all of that in one bowl. You don't have to measure it out into separate little things like that. I could have put it all in this bowl with the chicken broth and been good to go to put it in the pan, or I could have put it directly in the pan, so don't think that you have to do all of this stuff. So here's the ingredients for the chicken. I have 16 ounces of chicken breast, salt and pepper to taste, another tablespoon of Sriracha. So this is going to be a bit spicy. This is probably more Sriracha than we normally use. Juice of half of a lime. I used a whole lime because, well, we like lime and the lime didn't seem too juicy. 5 cloves garlic. 1 more tablespoon of fresh ginger grated. It calls for another tablespoon of soy sauce. I'm leaving that out because we already have a lot of soy sauce in the sauce. We have salt here, and I don't need extra soy sauce. I'm trying to cut back on salt, so I'm leaving that out. Half a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil. And it calls for 8-ounce rice noodles, but what I'm going to do is actually use these Tofu Shirataki noodles. You guys have probably seen them on any Hungry Girl recipe. If you subscribe to Hungry Girl's newsletter, she advertises these a lot. Basically, these are just made out of tofu and yam flour, which sounds disgusting, But the deal is you drain them, you rinse them thoroughly, and then you dry them thoroughly. And you can just nuke them, and they'll go under any sauce or whatever it is you want to do. The nutrition facts are crazy on these. Let's show you. For 4 ounces, which is half of the package, ooh, you get 20 calories, half a gram of fat. So if I eat this whole package, I'm going to get 40 calories, 1 gram of fat, 0 cholesterol, minimal sodium. It'll be 6 carbs if I eat the whole thing, and 4 grams of fiber and 2 grams of protein, which is really good. Way better than most noodles. A lot of people don't like these. I know I've done them before and they had a bit of a fishy smell, but recently I tried them. I rinsed them, I dried them really well and microwaved them, and they turned out great. You can also stir fry them instead of microwaving them. But Hungry Girl says the key is rinsing and drying well. So give them a shot. They're worth the points, in my opinion. So that's for the chicken. Now we also need 3/4 cup, which I definitely did more. We love our green onions. Green onions. It calls for 1 1/4 cup shredded carrots. I've skipped the carrots because we don't have shredded carrots, but we do have extra broccoli slaw. So it calls for 1 1/4 cups carrots and 1 1/4 cups broccoli slaw. I'm just going to do 2.5 cups broccoli slaw. And then 1 cup of bean sprouts, which we have here. It calls for 2 tablespoons chopped peanuts. I'm leaving those out. And it calls for a sliced lime and cilantro for garnish if you want to. I'm going to add some cilantro to this dish, but probably not the sliced lime. So those are the ingredients. Let's get started. Like I said, first thing I'm going to do is take all the ingredients for the sauce, put it in a pan, put it on medium-low, and get that cooking. And I'll slice the chicken, and I'll be right back. Okay, so my sauce is boiling. I'm going to let that boil and thicken up. My oil is heating in this pan, and I've got my chicken seasoned with the lime, the garlic, salt, pepper, sriracha, ginger. Notice I'm using this hand. This is the only hand I'm going to be using for chicken. And I'm going to immediately wash it. Don't cross-contaminate your chicken. But to save time, instead of measuring everything into little separate bowls, that's sriracha on my hand, by the way. You could have just put your diced chicken in the bowl and put the lime juice and the garlic and the ginger on top of it. And just seasoned it like this. And now I'm going to drop it into that oil and fry it for 2 to 3 minutes on each side to get it nice and cooked. I've got my chicken going. I've got my sauce going. I'm going to just drain these Shirataki noodles into the strainer. And I'm going to give them a good rinse. You can definitely tell they're smelling fishy, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's the yam flour that they're made with. I don't know if it's the tofu, but I'm going to give these a good rinse and get that smell off of there. Then I'm going to get some paper towels, and I'm going to dry it up. Okay, hands washed, all set to go. We've got our sauce is thickening up nicely. It's reducing. I don't think I want it too much thicker than that. So I've lowered the heat, and I'm just going to let it simmer a bit. My chicken is mostly done. It's actually done. So I'm just going to make a little well in the pan, and now I'm going to add this broccoli slaw and the bean sprouts. And green onions. I'm going to leave a few for garnishing afterwards. I just want to add that there. And I'm going to put the lid on so the steam can soften up that broccoli slaw a little bit. And while that's going, I'm going to cut some cilantro to garnish the dish. Okay, that just took a few minutes, short minutes, to get that broccoli softened up. So now I'm going to put another little well in the pan, and I'm going to take these noodles, and I don't think I'm going to use both bags because that's a lot of noodles. So I'm going to use about one of the bags, maybe a little bit more. I'll put the others in a Ziploc, and I'm just going to let those cook a little bit to get any excess water or fishy flavor or smell off of those noodles. Let those cook up dry. Then I'm going to mix this in. Then I'm going to add this sauce. And then it's going to be delicious. This serves 6 P.S. So I ended up using both bags of noodles because I thought, well, what the heck? It'll be easier to count the recipe that way instead of 1.5. And they're really low in calories. So this is a peanut noodle sauce with chicken. So why not add the noodles, right? This smells amazing. I got the tongs out because I want to separate the noodles some so they're not all clumped together in the center. I want to get the chicken and the veggies all combined. And now I'm going to take this sauce and I'm going to dump it all over this food and it's going to be delicious. Okay, so I'm killing the heat on this pan. And now what I want to do is just get this all mixed in. I want to make sure that I separate the noodles and get everything covered in the sauce. Oh, my mouth's watering. The sauce is probably not as thick as it would be if I had used real peanut butter, but it's also not nearly as many calories as if I had used real peanut butter. So this is looking really good. If you wanted to, you could add a little cornstarch in the sauce when it's cooking to thicken it up. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to serve this in a bowl. I wish it were a bit thicker, to be honest with you. But what I'll do is let it sit so that it thickens up. Looks good. Okay, there we go. Finished product. Nice bright green from the cilantro and the onions. Take this into the Persian and get a taste test. Hi.
Hey.
Are you excited about this dish? You look gorgeous.
Yeah,
so what do you think so far? How does it look?
I could smell it from here. And I was just like savoring the smell. It's like that wolf on those cartoons when you're
yeah, where you like
he just like floats.
Give it a taste.
Is it spicy?
A little bit. Is it really good? Really? Anything you would change? Is it too spicy? Too salty?
It's a little spicy, but it's a good spicy.
Is it peanut buttery enough?
No.
More peanut butter? I wasn't sure how much to use because I've never used that PB2 before.
Yeah. I taste the sauce. It doesn't really taste like peanut butter.
Does it taste like peanut at all?
I don't know.
All right, we're done. Thank you. Do you like it though?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Good.